Hey guys, Haas with Haas Games and Cards, and I hope you're all doing awesome because you all deserve it. What do we got going on today? We are going to talk about one of our favorite topics, Prismatic Evolutions, and how content creators are lying to you about it. Not lying. That's a little dramatic. Definitely different takes. A lot of different takes, and we're gonna view over some of these takes, kind of break it down. But I don't think everybody has the, nobody's 100% correct on this topic when it comes to prismatic evolutions, pre-orders, prices, what availability will be like, all those things. I think everyone has different takes on it. Some of them, they have some right stuff in it. Some of them have some wrong stuff. And we're going to kind of look over and see what we think about some of these and give my opinion. We'll kind of round up at the end what I feel about it all and what my plan is to do with my allocations of Prismatic Evolutions, because I have not pre-ordered it yet. We'll kind of go over all that and then what it's going to look like for when I sell Prismatic Evolutions. Now you guys can have a chance at it as well. So we'll definitely go through all of that. And you know what? I just don't think a lot of people either have a really good consumer viewpoint from this or they have a good store viewpoint, but they don't really have both. There's a middle ground to all this. I don't think they have both. And we're going to kind of go over some things. But first, let's talk about Prismatic Evolutions and where it's currently at, where we're sitting price-wise, and what it's looking like. Man, and has this gone to the moon? Has this gone to the moon? Prismatic Evolutions, Pokemon Center Elite Trainer Box, going for $394. Market price is actually $398. So someone just posted one a little bit lower. $394, $389, $389. So we're about to hit this, and this guy bought two of them. Holy hell, bought two of them at $394. We got some in the $380s, a $500 one. Wow, this is crazy. So, it'll be interesting to see how much more this pumps up. I know there's going to be the Pokemon Center dump. Usually, they dump a couple more right on release. Is it going to be enough to fulfill everybody's palettes? We'll talk about that. And what we think that'll look like. But this is going crazy. And there's only one page of it. And you have a few at $394, $398, and then it jumps up to $500, $530. So people are buying this. And that's one topic we're going to cover too. People don't like these prices, but people keep buying it. They keep buying it. This isn't like something where it's like, oh, it's just a few here and there that keep getting bought. It's like, no, this is pages and pages. Even $500 ones were bought early December. But pages and pages and pages of data. Like, this is stuff that is selling. This isn't stuff where it's just priced this high. People are like, oh, man, that's too high. I don't want to buy this anymore. People are buying it very actively buying it, which is very crazy. I haven't seen this myself yet. Since I've started my Pokemon business, it's a crazy thing to see. I would have, if you would have asked me a year ago if that would be possible, I'd be like, no, I don't think so. But here we are. But like I said, we'll go over if they do release more in the Pokemon Center, and they may not. We don't know yet. But if they do, is it going to make a big enough impact? I don't think so. There's so many bots. We'll go over that, though. We'll go over that and kind of ways to help you increase your odds to get it. Because you all should get some stuff. Everybody should get stuff, right? That's the goal. Get stuff, either rip it open, have fun, or hold on to it, invest in it, whatever you want to do, right? Two very different markets, though. You have TCG Player, where we are getting in the almost $400 range, jumping up to $500 soon. And one thing I didn't know about TCG Player, I just kind of recently learned this, these are supposedly verified shops. And this is interesting because a verified shop is posting this stuff, but this isn't coming from like a distro where they have a guaranteed number. Technically, Pokemon Center could be like, yeah, we're going to cancel your pre-order. Hopefully not. And I haven't seen this happen. I hope not. But it would really suck if you paid $400 for this, and then the store is like, oh crap, sorry, your my pre-order got canceled, so that means your pre-order got canceled too. Oh boy, what a mess. That'd be such a mess because it's not a guaranteed thing. It's not guaranteed until it's at your doorstep. So be careful with that. TCG Player has a lot of scams on it, even though these are technically verified shops. We'll talk about some of the scams that have happened recently. So I wouldn't fully trust it. But then you go to eBay and we look for the Prismatic Evolution pre-orders on eBay. It's a totally different market. Prices are not even close to the same. Of course, you gotta be careful because you don't know, whether it's this or TCG Player, you don't know if it's a trusted source. But if you find people with, these ones with only like 7 sells and an 88%, I wouldn't trust that. But ones that have a little bit more sells to them, a little bit better customer service rating, like this guy with 378, probably a little bit more trustworthy. These are coming from the United Kingdom too, so you're going to pay a premium in shipping, and it's of course not even going to come close to getting to you on release date. But if you can secure some of those at a cheaper price, is that worth it? Possibly. We'll talk about that later too. I don't want to dig into too much of my own take. So then we get to the normal Elite Trainer box. We're climbing up to 130. Very steadily climbing up to 130. This is not going down. This is just continuing onward and upward. Looks like it's been very steady at 127. And again, these aren't just something that people are like, oh, it's too expensive, I'm not going to buy it. There's some sales going on right now from some whales buying this stuff. But, the demand is here. The hype is here. The sales are here. This is all, I started recording this probably right at midnight. This is already has some new sales for the day at 127. And look, this is all from the second, all from the first, still scrolling down. People are buying this. People are buying it at these prices. So again, is this price worth it? I think it's a little bit more on point with eBay this time. A little bit closer. eBay is kind of all over the place. You got some in the 80s. You got some up in the hundreds. A little bit better of a price depending on if it's a trusted seller or not. So there's that, right? Yeah, just crazy. Just crazy. So we're going to go through some other content creators and their takes on this. One person I watched, I kind of liked their takes on it, because they're a little bit more realistic with the situation, right? Because the thing is a lot of YouTubers are saying, don't FOMO, don't dive into this, don't do that, don't do the other. And it's like, that might be a cool mentality to have. You're going to save money for sure. But if you are someone that really wants to open this and you think the prices are going to dip down, you might miss out. A lot of people missed out on Surging Sparks with the same mindset, thinking, oh, 120 on release? Way too much. Can't do that. Won't do that. Yeah. Then you didn't get boxes and now they're over 200. So, there's a certain mindset to come in to play, and it's being realistic, right? If you're going to want some stuff on a very hyped set, that's even more hyped than Surging Sparks and way more hyped than 151. Be realistic, and you're going to have to know that demand is a thing. And if you want those things, there's going to be a price to pay. And unfortunately, this set is going to be the adult set, is what I'm going to call it, because it's so expensive. Kids can't afford it, right? And if I was a parent, I would not buy this in English. We'll talk about that later too, but I'd probably get it in Japanese. So, he brings up some good points. He a lot of content creators want to stay away from causing FOMO, being a FOMO cause, but like I said, there's a difference between being FOMO and realistic, and he kind of agreed with this, basically saying, hey, it's cool if you don't want to feed into the FOMO, but then you're not going to get stuff. And finding this product is going to be hard on release date. I generally agree with this, and we'll talk about that a little bit more further on in the video. But I mean, if people are fighting over 151, a less hyped set, and they're fighting over 151 hitting a Costco shelf right now, I think it's pretty safe to say, come release day, you're going to see armies of people just going out to all the different stores, whether it's GameStop, Walmart, Best Buy, all that stuff. They're going to be hitting everything to find this product, and it's going to get scooped up quick. It's not going to be easy to find. And some people claim, no, 151 was super available. I don't know. I feel like in my state, it sure as hell wasn't. In my state, it got scooped up super quick from all the stores, and LGS's got scalped and flipped really quick too. And then online, because a lot of people were saying, oh yeah, it was available online. Not really. And we'll talk about that here in a minute, but not really. So Vapor, I like your take. I think you did a good job with that. You're very realistic, and I don't even think you're feeding into the FOMO. I think you're just saying, hey, realistically, this is what it's going to look like. And is it going to change or dip down much on release? If it does dip down, maybe barely, but not enough to make a big difference, right? And then it was never a phase. I like watching this guy. Great guy. Obviously a lot bigger than we are. And he has a really cool channel, really good content. And he gives some advice that's pretty good on this video. But then also, again, I think there might be some things that are a little bit off. Not much. I generally agree with some of his takes too. One thing he did do that I do appreciate him doing for people is talking about, hey, you know what? You can get Pokemon Center ETBs sometimes on release day. Sometimes they restock. Here's the date and time to kind of look out for that. Good luck. The thing I thought was a little cringy is like, oh, I'm hurting my own odds. I'm gaining nothing from telling you this. And it's like, it's a pretty commonly known thing. Don't hero complex too much, but I don't know why. I just thought that was interesting. I think it's funny when content creators are like, I do it for you, and this is hurting my soul. It's great information. Don't get me wrong. Super great information. I love it. I just thought that was an interesting statement. And then I thought it was interesting because he talks about and advertises for a Discord group that you can join that costs money monthly to get notifications of restocks, and Pokemon Center restocks, which is a great tool, but why pay for it? There's many other Discords where you don't have to pay for it. It's very well known that Rattle is another content creator, good investigator. That's one thing I'd love to jump into a little bit more, because with what I currently do for my career, I do a lot of investigations, and so I would love to look into scammers and other investigations and see what I can throw my way with that. Just because I love it. I love running investigations, and Rattle does a great job. Gets a lot of information from other people. When someone steals something from a card show, really gathers the community together to figure out who it is. It's great. But Rattle has a Discord as well. You can usually just find it in his videos in the description. And his Discord bots are free. I use his Discord bots. I think they're great. But to kind of go back into talking about, oh yeah, if this drops on Pokemon Center release date, you're going to have you got a great chance, especially if you pay for this Discord, to get notifications and you're on at the right time. It's like, you got to remember, if you're using these resources, whether you pay for it or whether you get it for free, which I don't think you should pay for those bots. Rattle has it for free. Don't pay for them. That's silly. $8 a month is not worth it, because you have to realize scalpers have the same bots. They've been doing that longer than we have, and they have better systems to quickly scoop up and buy things. So I would not pay monthly to get a bot that, that other scalpers have been using for some time. And like I said, they usually have purchasing systems that usually get them through the process a lot quicker. They're usually way on top of it. And so if you want to try to get some of these Prismatic Evolution ETBs from the Pokemon Center on release day, you do need to be pretty on top of it. So just be aware of that. Go get it for free. I think it's silly to pay for it. Don't pay $8 a month. That's just ridiculous. And then Dr. Applesauce. I swear I don't pick on this guy. I like watching his videos. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't watch his videos and then talk about them if I didn't like his videos, because Dr. Applesauce is very consumer centric. Like he really cares about the consumer for the most part. He keeps saying he's a consumer. That I think is funny because he has 4,000 sales on Drip, and I know a lot of those are giveaways and other things like that, but you're not a consumer. If you're selling Pokemon, you're not strictly a consumer. But great video on this one. Goes through a lot of different information. I think his information's a little bit off too. Like we were talking about earlier in the video, just a few minutes ago, we were talking about how, or he says that 151 was super readily available and you were able to get it online just fine, not a big deal. I don't, online I could never really find it, and if I did, it was decently above MSRP. And when we're looking at the Elite Trainer box, sadly it doesn't go back far enough or where I'd like it to go. Maybe if I go to view, no, that doesn't work either. So, I mean, I've never seen this thing go below MSRP. And what's interesting is he says, "Oh, you know what? People, this Prismatic Evolutions will release. People will race to the bottom to sell out their stock after they just did a lot of overpricing on their pre-orders. Whatever they have left over, they're going to race to the bottom to sell it as quickly as possible." I guess my counter argument to that, or not argument, but just point, is that a lot of sellers are already selling it, and we already just showed this. There's an endless list of this stuff selling at $127. And so, and this is all day, every day. So why would anybody choose to list it lower than that when it's already selling like hotcakes for well above MSRP? The Pokemon Center Elite Trainer box, I never saw it go below MSRP unless it was on TikTok, because I guess lucky for everybody who loves 151 like me, 151 was easy to get on TikTok, but that was during like the coupon phase, and that was where you're able to get stuff very cheap because of the TikTok coupons, and that was a lot of fun. That was a ton of fun. But that's the only time I really saw it drop below MSRP and was readily available. At least in my state, stores never really got restocks of it. It got scooped up quick when the ETBs hit Costco, when the UPCs hit Costco, and when the UPCs, ETBs, they came out with the mini tins too. Every time those came out from Costco, those got scalped up so quick. I remember waiting in line just to buy myself like 3 of them, just so I can rip them for myself, and then I bought some for friends and just charged them cost because I'm nice like that. I remember going in, and there was a TikTok streamer in line in front of me, and he got the whole pallet, the whole entire pallet. And I was just like, "Hey man, can I just have like 4?" We were the only 2 there. He grabs the whole pallet. I'm like, "Man, I just want 4, for a few for me, or like 4 to 5, a few for me, a few for buddies that are working and can't have access to that. I'm not going to flip them. And he's like, oh, well, I'm selling it on TikTok. And it's like, well, yeah, you're going to get, you're going to sell for a ton, way overpriced. But like whenever that stuff hits the shelf, it gets scooped up so fast. And I feel like 151 had more product on release than Prismatic does. I'd say it definitely does. There was a lot more. I mean, it seems like stores are getting a lot more of 151 during release than what they're getting in Prismatic. I know my allocations are super small, and every LGS physical store that I've talked to, their allocations are minuscule. And I remember one saying that basically, I think they only got a quarter of what they normally get. And they were saying like they would have had to spend like $100,000 a month to like even come close to getting a decent amount. And no LGS is currently flipping that unless they're doing like TikTok and whatnot and everything at the same time. But then you have to hope you have a good following. I used to do a lot of streaming, and there was a time where streaming was great. There wasn't a ton of streamers, and even if you're a smaller person, like myself, like when I started streaming when 151 came out, and I was able to sell all my stuff just fine, not a big deal. But there's a lot less streamers back then. The demand was different, and things were kind of newer in the streaming realm of things. And then they allow like every streamer to pop up. There's millions of streamers now, and so I got tired of sitting there for 8 hours at night, losing sleep and not selling as much as I used to. So I don't do that anymore. We have our website, and we do great on our website and have a fun time with that. But anyways, kind of went way off topic. So one really good point, one awesome point, and I've been driving this home to my customers here locally. My customers keep saying, oh yeah, I'm going to dump in as much money into Prismatic as I can. I want to open it. I want to have fun with it and all these other things. And I'm like, why don't you just buy some sealed, save it, flip it at a later date, to help offset costs and other things like that. But one thing that I kept mentioning to my customers is I was like, hey, you know what? With Japanese, you get guaranteed hits. You get a guaranteed SAR in a box no matter what. Chance at master balls, chance of other good hits, but there was always some kind of guaranteed value. I can always restock Japanese. Japanese is a lot cheaper than an Elite Trainer box. You get 10 packs, Elite Trainer box gets 9. And the value of singles are still pretty good. And, if you pull an Evolution, you're doing pretty good. You could literally buy one of these ETBs for $127. You could buy, this $400 Pokemon Center ETB. And your packs may have absolutely nothing in them. Nothing. They may have absolutely nothing. And then you're like, wow, I just spent $130 for 9 packs to get no hits. And now there's no comeback from that. And so one thing I've been trying to push with my customers is like, hey, you know what? Get some for collecting, get some for, maybe a rip here and there. Maybe just keep it sealed and invest it and make some money like 5-10 years down the road. But in my opinion, I'd rather open this up in Japanese and collect it in Japanese. For one, the cards look better, but then two, it's cheaper and more available. So I'd rather rip Japanese for sure. And so I think he makes a very good point with that. 130 in ETB to get probably nothing, And so just be aware. Like I said, this is a video to because one side is like, oh, anti-FOMO, don't FOMO, this is bad, whatever. And then the other side, oops, I smacked my microphone. The other side is like, no, you do need to worry. Like if you want to get this set, whether it's collecting or ripping, you do need to worry a little bit because it's going to be hard to find. And Dr. Applesauce's comparison to 151 isn't really the same because, 151 was hard to get, whether he wants to admit it or not. And even if it was easy to get, whatever. But one thing that we're all forgetting is this set has much more hype than 151. There are a lot more streamers going on right now that are ripping product and trying to get any product they can. They will pay MSRP for it. They will rip it above MSRP. If a store, LGS gets it, a lot of them are trying to sell it at market, and people are demonizing stores for selling it at market. But what happens? A store sells it below market, and a streamer's going to come buy it at that price below market, and then they're going to sell it at market or more, because when you're streaming, you got your fees to worry about. So, of course, they're going to, whether they buy it under market or at market, they're going to rip it for you guys well above market. So you got to remember that too. They're not just getting cheap ETBs, they're probably paying inflated prices as well, because the store's going to sell it slightly above MSRP because they don't want to seem like bad guys, where I think they're completely justified in selling at market with how little they're getting. I'm not going to do that, but stores that have overhead and staff and everything, they're barely going to get any allocations to make this even worth getting. And there's going to be no restocks because Surging Sparks has had no restocks, and that set was very hyped. And this newer set has so much more hype behind it, that if Surging Sparks has had no restocks on the distro level, which they haven't, no restocks, that means this set is also going to have no restocks for quite some time and be very expensive. And people always keep saying, oh, just wait for a reprint. The reprint will make it better. Hey, you know what? Surging Sparks is $120 a booster box. Just wait till after release because it'll go back down. Surging Sparks is over $200 a booster box now, easy. And it never came back to distro. If it does get restocked at distro, it will be more expensive because every time I've seen a restock, whether it's Twilight, Temporal Forces, Paradox, whatever it is, once they restock that product on a distro level, they do not sell it at its original distro release price. They look at the market as well and say, oh, you know what? They're selling these boxes for $200 a box. We have to sell it pretty close to that. One of my distros has Lost Origin booster boxes that you can pick up. I think it was like $225. Lost Origin booster box. I think it was about $225 if I remember correctly. Oh, never mind. That's a good deal. But still, not even close to distro price. I didn't know. Oh, this shot up. Okay. Well, sorry. Back. So maybe this is why it's shooting up, though. Maybe this is why it is currently shooting up. And I didn't know this. I haven't looked at Lost Origin forever because I saw that price. And I'm like, well, Lost Origin, when I think it was back in September, October, the booster boxes just barely hit like $200. Yeah, it looks like $200 around September. And they restocked those into the distro. And you can only buy one box. You can only buy one box. That's what's crazy. And so I saw on the distro level that you could buy it for $225. And I was like, well, that's pretty much market price right now. I'm not going to buy it. That's not worth it to me. And then boom, we have this big jump up. So if you guys don't understand or don't see it, there is a correlation between distro, their restock prices, and current market. Because it looks like as soon as they listed those boxes for $225, where you could only buy one at a time, all of a sudden we have a very steady climb, and then December hits and we're like, whoa, $300 a box, $330 a box, $342 a box. So I didn't know that. Guys. That's a new educational piece for me because I have not looked this up. But like I said, that correlates. When I see, I made a video about this a handful of months ago. I said, hey, you know what? I'm going to make an investment opportunity for some people on my YouTube channel, and I can guarantee no one will take it. And you know what? I was right. Nobody on my YouTube ordered the deals that I set up for them. But they did, but my local people did, who I sell to locally because I act like a local card store as well, just out of my own home. local people ate up the deals that I threw at them because they know that when distro prices are going up and they limit cases to be only available at one case purchase per, or one case limit per purchase, they know that means, for one, it's going out of stock soon, and then two, that it is going to be going up in price pretty drastically at some point in the next handful of months. And so if you guys go back to that video, go back to that video. Well, I showed you graphs on TCG Player showing the quantities that are available, how the quantities were kind of dying down, and a page later or so, or even less than that, a lot of the cases were making significant jumps. And I know and now they're out on distro. You can't get Stellar Crown anymore. You can't get Paradox Rift. Temporal Forces, I think, is gone too. I don't remember. But I made deals on all those. And I put them below market price. And I said, you know what? There are still good 2024 investment opportunities. And I can guarantee none of you guys online here are going to take it. And I was so right. None of you did, but a lot of my local people did. Now they're gone out of distro, and they have gone up in price, and they're seeing their gains. They're not selling them because they know they need to hold on to it for a handful of years. I said, hey, hold on to it. Don't just flip it at the first $20 you gain. But they've all gone up in price, and it's because they're all gone at distro. So when you have things gone like Temporal Forces, Stellar Crown, Twilight Masquerade, all the current sets really minus Base Set and Obsidian Flames, I think are the only ones still at distro. But even those prices have gone up at the distro level. It's not at the beginning level there. So you have to see that there's so many sets that are gone. And I always hear from all these YouTubers, like even It Was Never a Phase, I think, said this in his Prismatic video. He was like pretty much saying, oh yeah, Surging Sparks is primed for a reprint. What does that even mean? Just because the prices have shot up doesn't mean it's ready for a reprint. I apologize. It just barely came out. That set just barely released. They're not going to reprint it yet. That'd be silly. And they have older sets that need reprints. Definitely have older sets that need reprints, and they're not even close. I mean, they have, Twilight, Stellar, Paradox, Surging Sparks. I don't know if I said Stellar or not. I don't know. It's like 2 a.m., so maybe a little off on that. But all those are out in distro. They're all out. You can't get them. And they're rising up in price. So when are they going to reprint things? And when are they going to have time? And is it going to come in the form of ETBs? Like, Prismatic has only ETBs, no booster boxes. Are the reprints going to come in the form of booster bundles and ETBs? Probably not. I have not seen 151 get a distro restock ever, except for one time. And it was when the market price of the booster bundles were $45 a booster bundle. And guess what? Distro sold it at $45 a booster bundle. So that told me, you know what? Those are going to be jumping up to 50-ish bucks a booster bundle in the next handful of months if they're selling for 45 on the distro level. And so, of course, those sold out. And sure enough, very soon after, it went up in price. It went up in price to pass $50 a booster bundle. I think it's like 55 now or some near that. So, guys, restocks and reprints on a big set do not really impact it much. In fact, it usually ends up going higher. And you have to remember, all these are current modern sets before Sword and Shield, before Lost Origin, and they're gaining faster than Sword and Shield ever has. They are gaining value faster, I'd say. I mean, when did Lost Origin come out? It came out a while ago, right? Handful of years? I don't remember. I wasn't around for that. But these are already getting up to prices like that. Like the Pokemon Center Elite Trainer box exclusive is already more expensive than a Lost Origin booster box. it is more expensive than a Lost Origin booster box. If that doesn't tell you how big the hype and demand is right now, I don't know what does. Because Lost Origin has a Giratina. People love that. But if you think about it, the booster bundle display is way more than a booster box, and there's more cards in a display, but you know what I mean. Price per pack, more than that. Well, pretty close. Maybe not quite, but it's getting there. It's trending quicker than Lost Origin ever did. So that's just nuts. That's just nuts. So, like I said, distro adjusts their prices to the market, and when they do that and limit an item, you will see it jump up very quickly. And that's what happened to this in this last month. It has done a significant jump, but I kind of knew that would be coming. I just didn't know it already did because I haven't been looking. It's been the holidays, and I don't really look at Sword and Shield stuff because usually I don't have access to it. So, yeah, definitely keep that in mind. A reprint does not always mean you're going to get stuff, because Lost Origin, you can still get it at distro at a very expensive price, but that just shows and told me that it's going to jump up above that, and very quickly. So keep that in mind. Don't forget that. Put it in your back pocket. So then we have Paldea Evolved. It had a reprint, restock, whatever you want to call it, very recently. Did it dip the price down a little bit? Yeah, it sure did. Just a little bit. Because they finally took time to reprint it, and then it shot back up, and it shot back higher than it's ever been. So, again, reprints, you can't rely on them to get you the cheapest price. You cannot rely on them to get you the cheapest price, because they either, like 151, there's a lot of different products that hit like Costco shelves and stuff like that, huge amounts of them, and then you get streamers that buy up a whole pallet and will fight you for it. They will fight you for that pallet, because we've seen videos of it. Fight you for that pallet so they can stream it and keep prices higher and keep demand higher. And like I said, Paldea Evolved, highest it's ever been after a restock. So if you think waiting for a restock will bring it back down to $100 a box, $120 or $120 a box, you're wrong. Sorry. That's not a fun reality, but you got to be realistic, or else you're going to miss out on stuff. You are wrong. It will not go back down to those prices. You're just wrong. Sorry, not sorry. Just being real with you guys. And I think you can even still order this at distro. So that tells me, especially since I think it's still just one case left. Actually, no, they just barely dropped off of distro like a week or two ago. So that means they're not getting any more out to the public anytime soon, which means these prices are going to continue to soar up, especially with that Magikarp doing what Magikarp do. We went way off topic for a second. I apologize about that. I know this is supposed to be about Prismatic, but we have to look at these other things that will help us determine what Prismatic will do, especially on sets that aren't hype. Nobody wanted Paldea Evolved. A lot of people wanted 151, but this has way more hype than 151, and it is exceeding those things by a mile. Many miles. It's exceeding those already, and it's not even out yet. So, again, be realistic with yourself on what you feel like you need to do. If you feel like you need to dish out $130, cool, dish out $130 if you're financially able to. If you're not, don't do it. That's silly. Never do that. But if you want to rip this, there's going to be a price that is determined by demand. And I know other YouTubers are saying the price will drop down. There'll be reprints, blah, blah, blah. Reprints don't bring it down to MSRP. Reprints knock down the market barely, and then it shoots back up and higher than it ever has. Because you have to remember, this was like going in the 860-ish range. Lowest it got to was like 830 to 790. So it dropped down like $100, but that still wasn't even close to what original release prices were. So yeah, don't bang on that. So where am I at with everything? I accidentally kind of dipped into certain subjects before I wanted to, and went off on some tangents. So I apologize about that. We're now a little scatterbrained for sure. I just don't want you guys to miss out. If you want it, this might be the best price to get it. If it drops down $20, then maybe that was the best price to get it. But $20 is not going to impact you substantially. And this is one thing that I say to people. If 120, 130 is too expensive for you to rip packs, just don't do it. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. And if you think it might get lower, cool, take that gamble, take that risk. Because there's a lot of people that take a gamble and risk that at 120 it will get higher valued than 120. And there's people that gamble that if they just wait, they will get it below whatever the current price is. I say go with your gut and do what you want to do. Just be realistic that on this hype set, it may not dip down that low again. So, don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody knows because we haven't had a set like this for a minute. It's been a minute. And I don't think we have a lot more new people in right now, I'd have to say. So we don't know what the current, how extensive this demand spike is. We don't know how extensive it is. But like I said, consider the reality of things, get from trusted sources for sure. And there's a lot of YouTubers saying that there are orders being canceled already and being relisted. I know for Surging Sparks, I saw tons of evidence of this, and lots of things getting flip-flopped around and things like that. There's still a decent amount of stock of Surging Sparks, especially compared to Prismatic. I know there was some instances of price flipping like that. I'm curious because I saw Prismatic pre-ordering for quite a bit of money right from the get-go. If you guys have experiences with that, if your order was canceled and you can prove and show that it was relisted later, definitely show me that proof. I want to see it. I want to report on it. I really want to talk about it. But I don't want to just say, oh yeah, that's what's happening. Because everybody that I've been watching so far that have claimed a pre-order has gone canceled so that a store could relist it for more money, I haven't seen that evidence yet. I have seen it for Surging Sparks, but I don't want to be the YouTuber that's just saying it because everybody else is saying it. Because right now everybody's saying it, but they're not providing any proof. And what I have seen is smaller stores like me. I didn't do this, but there's other stores that are about the same size as me where they did some pre-orders without knowing their allocations first up front. They were just going off of old data and kind of what they got from Surging Sparks, and then they ended up not getting nearly as much allocations as they thought they were, and then had to cancel. But I know that they didn't relist them. It was just a sad matter of they did pre-orders when they shouldn't have. A lot of people are doing their pre-orders month in advance and they don't even know what they're getting allocation wise. I didn't do that. I wanted to play safe. I know what I'm getting now, and I definitely did not do any pre-orders until I know what I'm getting, and I'm going to be posting pre-orders soonish. I'm waiting for one more distro to kind of tell me if I'm going to get some stuff or not. But I can do pre-orders for what I know I'm for sure getting, and we'll kind of talk about that in a minute. But is this a great price to rip at? No, especially if you pull nothing in your ETB. Not a great price to rip at, but if you have the expendable income, go for it. Sure, why not? Why not? Is it a good investment opportunity? Because we talk about a couple of things on this channel, right? We talk about, is the prices fair and good to rip at, and is it a good investment opportunity? I think Nostalgianomics brings this up quite a bit and has some good points with it, and I'd agree with it. I'd agree with it. When Surging Sparks was coming out, there were people that had opportunities to buy that box for $100 to $120 at pre-order pricing. A lot of people were like, "Oh, I'm used to getting my booster boxes for like $95 a box." So you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to pre-order and support my store. I'm just going to wait. The release date will happen. People will plummet their prices, and then I'll be able to get it for that $95 a booster box price, so I can then hold on to it for 5 to 10 years and gain that money. And everybody who thought that and did that did not get a box, and they will not get a box at this point. It's too late now. Not too late, but they will not. They waited because of FOMO. And like I said, I think there's a difference between FOMO and reality, okay? And those people that were trying to get and wait for $95 booster boxes, that's never going to happen, and they will not get them. That's not how that works in this current market and demand. So they didn't get their boxes, and now they're like, well, geez, I really wish I could have bought it at 120 because now it's in the 200s. Really wish I got it at 120. It's like, you could have. Nobody stopped you from getting it at 120. The way I see it, and the way Nostalgianomics explains it as well, is, you know what? If you are fighting with yourself about investing in something that's $95, or you used to get it at $95 and now it's $120, but then you're fighting over that price. You know, you're like, oh, I don't like that price difference. If you're holding on to it for 5 to 10 years, that means you expect it to well exceed whatever price you bought in on at, right? So if you bought it at $95 or $120, what does it matter if you had to pay a little bit more if you expect it in 5 to 10 years to go up a little bit? That just means you can't get as much of it, which is a sad thing. But then you just edge yourself out of getting any of it and no investment opportunity. So you end up missing your chance. And that in a way is FOMO, and that in a way is being not realistic with yourself and the current market and situation. And stock, stock plays a big thing. Never came back to distro. It's expensive. It is expensive, and that just is what it is. But now that you're fretting over the price difference of 95 and 120, when you could have now had a $200 to $230, $40 booster box, whatever they're at now. Now you're fretting between the two, or now you're fretting that you missed out. That's on you. That's on you. You could have bought it for $120 and been happy. So be realistic, because you could miss out. You could. And that just is what it is. I mean, if you're holding on to it for 5 to 10 years, again, Lost Origin's a great example. It's now over $300, and it has made those jumps from when you could get that box super cheap, under $100. You could have even bought this box at $225 and still been happy because you hit $327, and you're not even in a 3-year period, right? Like, look at this thing. It started off at $134 back in January of last year, and now we're up to over $300. So even in the $100 range, the $200 range, you could have bought into that and then still been happy with whatever gains you got right now, but then also more years down the road. If you're a true investor, and I brought this up in my 2024 investment opportunities that are available, that are now gone. You can't do it now. When I brought this up, it's like, hey, if you are a true investor, that means you plan on holding it for 5 to 10 years. If you dump it before that, that means you're not really in it for the investing. You're in it for the hype train of investing, and you're not truly doing what you're supposed to be doing. So again, guys, if you have to get something that you want to invest at, and in 5 to 10 years it's going to be higher than whatever you buy it at, that means it might be a good deal if it's not going to go back down. So that brings us to the Pokemon Center ETB for Prismatic. If you can get it, in my opinion, for, what was it on eBay? I don't remember. Whatever it is on eBay, if it is, there you are. If it's going for like 120 to 150 for a Pokemon Center Elite Trainer box, I would do it, because we already see on TCG Player that they're going for 400. So if you can get it for 150, and the box isn't even out yet, and people on a different market are paying almost $400 for it, that tells me long term this is going to be a good value. It's going to keep growing in value. And if you, again, are going to be a true investor, What does it matter if you got it at $60, $100, $120? What matters is what is it going to do in 5 years since you bought it at whatever price you got it at. You got to remember that, guys. And I think that's what a lot of these channels are kind of missing is, there's going to be an investment side to it, and you can hold on to that, and it'll make money. This is going to be a hard product to get. It's going to be a hard thing to, imagine 5 years from now trying to get this thing. It's going to be hard because a lot of it's going to get ripped, even though a lot of people are buying them up. A lot of it's going to get ripped. People are going to want the promo. People are going to want to grade the promo. So that's going to lessen the availability even more. You just got to think about it, guys. You just got to think about it. And that's it. So, yeah, worth to rip. And where's it going in the next handful of years? Again, a lot of YouTubers are saying to wait. How long are you going to wait? We've already harped on this for the last forever in this video. The longer you wait, the more you might not get what you want. And the longer, what if you wait a couple weeks after release and those Elite Trainer boxes go from 100, 120 to $200? Then you're going to be sitting there going, well, crap, I guess I could have bought it at 120 and now it's $200 and now I can't rip it. Now I have to pay $200 to rip it. So again, it just depends on what your situation is, but be realistic with yourself in this hype market, this high demand market, this low stock market, because there's not a lot of stock of this stuff. What I'm getting for my allocations is abysmal compared to Stellar Crown, to even Surging Sparks, even compared to Twilight Masquerade, Paradox Rift. What I am getting is super, super sad and super low. And this set has more hype than 151. Do not forget that. And this is just a rough thing to have happen. This market, I know a lot of individual scalpers, resellers, and other things like that are making some good money. They're buying it at whatever they're buying it at and then just reflipping it back up even higher. So in my opinion, this market and this climate is not good for physical LGS stores, because like I was saying earlier, people get mad at LGS stores for trying to sell things at market, even if they only have smaller quantities. But what ends up happening? LGS store sells it at market, and then a scalper or streamer comes in, buys it at market or at MSRP, and then they reflip it for market. And it's like, it's going to get sold that way anyways. And people are currently buying it in droves. So don't be mean to your store if they sell it. Most of them that are selling it for a little bit more are still under market, but they have to survive till March. And they're not going to be able to get restocks. I can't get restocks. So, like I was saying earlier, if I were to collect this set for artwork and stuff like that, get it in Japanese, guys. The booster boxes are a lot cheaper. It's like $80 to $84 a booster box right now. You get a guaranteed SAR every box. You could get a Master Ball, things like that, where an Elite Trainer box you might not get anything. So be cognizant of that. I definitely just collect it in Japanese. This is a set where I'm okay to skip it for English purposes and just collect it in Japanese. I'm not going to rip a ton. It's too expensive. But if you guys end up wanting some Terrestrial Festival, we have it. We have it in stock. And on top of that, we're not a scam. We all know what happened with TCG Player, their $400,000 scam. They sold $10,000 booster boxes for $40 a box, over $400,000. Scammed out of people. TCG Player didn't care. They're just like, yeah, whatever. We're not even going to comment on it, which is silly, which is very, very silly. But yeah, scalpers are consuming probably about a couple mil per month in product, I'd say. They're going to make availability of stuff even less, especially since there's a lot more streamers that need product. Every time I talk to a streamer, they're always like, get me product. I need more product. They just go through it so quick. They go through it so quick. So much stock is being ripped up. And so I bet that's going to make availability even worse. But then also it is just making, availability is just worse. Like, it's going to make these prices not go back down. And as soon as a reprint or restock happens, they're just going to buy it and keep prices up. That's what's happening with Paldea. So, got to keep that in mind. But then also, if you don't want to pay overly inflated prices, stop. A lot of people are scalping because you guys are enabling it. Sorry, one second. I apologize. Talking too much. A lot of people are paying inflated pricing. They keep buying scalper stock. They keep on buying this crazy market pricing range. It's causing scalpers to continue to do it. And it's causing stuff to get bought up much quicker. It's making it harder for LGSs to get stock of things. And so, yeah, it's so much overpriced, but that's because the consumers are enabling it. You know, learn how to say no. It's okay to miss a set, and I think Nostalgianomics puts it perfect. It's okay to say no. Learn how to say no. Things aren't always a good opportunity. And if you missed an opportunity, there's going to be more down the road. Stop buying from scalpers. Scalpers will eventually start scalping. Make them feel that financial hurt. They're going to buy so much stock. If everybody just stopped buying it, they'd be like, oh, my heart hurts. I just lost money. And now I have so much product to move. Maybe I will race things down to the bottom and sell it for super cheap, or sell it back to the LGS for a lot cheaper, so the LGS can sell it for cheap. Stop it. Stop it. Get some help. Michael Jordan put it best. You need to just not buy it. If you didn't buy it, we wouldn't be here. So it's you guys. You guys are buying it. You can't complain about prices if you keep consuming it at that price. So what am I going to do with my allocations? I got to go on to Wix and see if there's ways to do this. And I think there are. I did some basic Googling. But I'm going to do two different things. I'm going to advertise what I'm going to be doing on YouTube, Instagram, and locally, because I sell locally too. I'm gonna let everybody know that purchases from me and watches my content. Hey, I'm going to be dropping pre-orders on whatever night. You know, I'm going to advertise it. And if you watch the end of this video, good for you, because this video is super long. And you're going to get the inside scoop. So if you watch to the end, good for you. I should have mentioned it at the beginning that I'm going to talk about what I'm going to do with my allocations, but I did not. But anyways, I'm going to try to make it as fair as possible. I still got to keep it fair for me too, because I'm barely getting anything. Getting like one case of each product. So a couple ways I might do it. I might do some bundle deals where it's like, you know, we have the ETB paired with the tech sticker pack or some kind of bundle deals. And basically I got to split my stock between the online store, and I have local card shows on the release date. So I got to have some for that. But here's what I'm going to do. And we'll see if people take advantage of it, because it's going to be very generous. I'm going to post it. If I do post it, it's either at MSRP or slightly above. You know, my ETB, it might be $65. But you know what? It's not 130. And it's going to be a guaranteed thing because I know my allocation numbers. So I'm not going to over pre-order what I already know I'm getting. A lot of stores didn't do that. So if your stuff gets canceled from other stores, it's because you pre-ordered it like 4 months in advance before they knew their numbers. So I might either just post each item individually, or I might do some bundle deals. Each of them will be pretty close to MSRP, maybe just slightly above, but still way under market. So keep an eye for it, and I'm going to limit it to one per purchase. So I'm going to try to put some purchasing limits on. If the website allows me to do it, I don't know the limitations of Wix. Like I said, I Googled it, and I think I can do that. I'm going to put some purchase limits on it, and I'm going to advertise that's going to be happening on a certain night, and then you guys just got to pay attention and watch the website. Because it will drop at some point, and I want everyone to have a chance at it. That's why we're doing purchasing limits, and we'll see where it goes. But I can almost guarantee that I will end up doing a lot more locally than I will online, because a lot of people don't even pay attention to what I say. They didn't pay attention to the investment opportunities I offered, where you would have made money by now. And I don't know. People are going to see my very fairly priced Prismatic Evolution stuff and be like, yeah, I don't know if I want that. And you have to remember, my local people are going to have access to my website too. And so they might do some orders on the website. You got to pay attention. I'm going to give everybody a fair chance. I'm putting it all on my social media platforms. Everyone's going to have the same opportunity. If you miss it, sorry. Tell distro to get me more product. Get everybody more product, but I know that's not going to happen. Again, guys, be realistic with your expectations for this set. It's okay to say no. It's okay to miss out on some things. Might be better to just buy some singles. It's going to be a rough set. It's going to be a rough year. It's going to be a rough 2025. Everything's going to be hard to get. So hopefully this video helps some of you. Hopefully it helps challenge your mindset, because that's what we're here to do. I'm not here to be mean, but I'm here to challenge your mindset and make you consider, hey, you know what? Maybe I was looking at things wrong, and maybe I need to really pay attention to what the market is doing and realize, hey, this may not dip down, because it probably won't, especially with streamers eating it all up. So thank you all for watching. I hope you all have a good night. Don't do anything crazy.